Hello friends, welcome to everyone on my channel Story Station. Today, I'm brought to you on another new interesting episode of r/AmITheA. Before starting the video, if you are new on my channel, please subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon so that you can get my upcoming video notification first. So let's start the video. Story posted by Lost in Lies 1. Am I the a-hole? Wife got my sister fired. I'm currently fighting with my wife. She has a high position at a university. She has her PhD and has little respect for people who don't have an education. My sister is the same age as my wife, and she is also very successful. Probably a bit more than my wife. She doesn't have the education my wife does, but she has managed to be successful. She does lie on her resume saying she has a Bachelor of Arts degree. Recently, my sister was hired as a bigwig for a company in New York City. My wife was so angry when she heard about it. She said that my sister was a liar and a fraud, and that she should never have been given the job. Flash forward 2 weeks. My sister calls me to tell me that she was let go because someone called the office to let them know that she did not have a Bachelor of Arts degree. When I brought this up to my wife, she admitted that she did in fact call my sister's job and let them know. I was stunned with this news. My sister is responsible for taking care of our sick mother, and she is an incredible person. She has worked over 2 decades in her field, and she has been very successful. I'm aware that she should not lie on her resume, but the company hired her after a background check, and at the end of the day, WTF cares? I had a huge fight with my wife about butting into my sister's business. I pointed out that she herself has lied about her experience at times, and that she should have stayed out of it. Now my sister is unemployed, and I have no idea how she is going to pay for our mother's nursing home fees. I have little money and my wife certainly isn't going to help. This decision by my wife is causing unbelievable ripples in our family. My sister helps pay for our niece's college. She's paid for our other sister's medical care after major surgery, and she's also helped me out by paying for my rehab 3 years ago when my insurance wouldn't cover the full 30 days. She also donates 10% of her income to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. She's a good person who wasn't able to afford college. My wife is livid with me for being angry with her. She says that I should support her and understand that this is a major issue for her, people lying about degrees, etc., and that it's my sister's fault for lying, and that maybe now she'll get a job that she's actually qualified for. I have not told my sister that my wife got her fired, and my wife has threatened to leave me if I tell her. Am I the a-hole for being angry at my wife for doing this to my sister? Am I the a-hole for not telling my sister how this happened? Now, Redditors gives the best suggestion to the OP on this situation. Not the a-hole. If your wife threatens to leave you for telling others about her actions, that's a pretty good indication that she's the a-hole. Also, she's a giant a-hole for throwing around divorce as a means to manipulate your behavior. She'd rather divorce you than own up and feel embarrassed by her shitty actions, which speaks volumes about her. Sorry, man. Not the a-hole for being angry at your wife, but you would be the a-hole if you don't tell your sister and stay with a horrible woman who treats others like that. One lied about a degree, but from what you've written, is a very kind woman who gives back to her family and the community regularly. The other is a jealous harpy who couldn't stand someone without a degree doing well in life because it brought up her own insecurities. Okay, so it was totally wrong of your sister to lie about having her Bachelor of Arts, but unless it is a profession where people's lives or livelihoods are at risk, then I don't see it as one of the 7 deadly sins. Your wife though just sounds like an awful person, and she herself has lied about her experience before. People in glass houses should not throw stones. As for your relationship, I think you need to take a long hard look at the person she is. This particular hill she has chosen to die on, for the principle of it, has actually caused you and the people you love increased hardship. As with any of these stories, I'm sure there is more to it than this. That she is mad at you for not standing by her is full on priceless. You are not the a-hole. If I was in your shoes, I'd be walking out the door, same day. Your wife is a ducking a-hole for this and her attitude since Tell your sister, she deserves to know. If only to hide her future employment from your wife. Incidentally, I'm a high earner without a degree. Your sister shouldn't lie, but ultimately, ignorant recruiters will place education requirements and skip very qualified people. It's bullshit and I don't support it. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I don't agree with your sisters to lie and this was a natural consequence of it. Your sister gambled that she could get away with a lie, and she lost. I've got very little sympathy for her on that one. However, your wife just set your whole family on fire, treated your sister with contempt and hatred, and that's not reasonable or responsible. Your marriage is probably over whether you tell your sister what happened or not. It probably should be. A woman who will do that kind of harm to your sister, your mother, your niece, will do it to you too if she feels justified. OP gives some responses to some questions. My wife visited my sister's LinkedIn and that's how she figured out that my sister was lying about her degree. As to why I don't help, I've been out of work for the past few months and just started a new job. My wife makes more money than I do, but does not feel it should be our responsibility to help my family out. When I was in rehab, my wife's insurance covered 60% of the costs and she didn't not want to go into our savings, so my sister volunteered to pay the rest of the cost. Not the a-hole. Your wife is an a-hole. Your sister has been in the field for 2 decades. She's qualified. This isn't some 22-year-old with no experience. Unfortunately, we live in a society where having a college degree doesn't mean qualified. It's basically just become a minimum bar. And those who can't afford college can't then advance. It's not like your sister is lying about having a medical degree or something, I hope. And the fact that your wife won't help with your mother's nursing home fees? She has her I've got mine and doesn't care how many people she screws in the process. How do you and your wife address finances in the home? Although 20 years in the field, does your sister actually need to put education on her resume? Story posted by Throwaway81. Am I the a-hole for humiliating a man and his entire family when he proposed to me on my phone? Sorry about any formatting issues. I, 28 female, come from a very traditional Indian family. I left them when I came to USA for uni because I knew that if I accepted their help in paying my fees they would hold it against me later, and I got a part-time job along with the financial aid I was receiving. I maintained low contact and didn't visit them in person until I was 26 when they contacted me on my younger brother passing uni. For the last 2 years, I have visited them 4 times and each time they've been talking about marriage, although I stated very clearly that I wasn't interested. They brought up kids and how finding guys willing to marry older women was hard. I said no problem because I'm child free and that I don't need / want them to find a guy for me. January this year, I went to visit them and they said that they had something special for me and that I would absolutely love it. The day after I reached their home, they said they were throwing me a welcome home party. I thought they were trying to fix our relationship and let it be. They invited a lot of people and it had obviously already been planned. An hour in, my parents introduced me to a man in his 30s, F, and his parents. So, next thing I know, F goes down on one knee and whips out a beautiful ring. I'm surprised and angry at my parents for still trying to control my life and putting me in such a situation. I said no, but then our parents began to push my buttons and I exploded. I called F, his parents and my parents' lowlifes for trying to trick me and basically insulted their views, calling them misogynistic and disgusting. Told them to go F themselves and left. I packed my bags and went to stay at a hotel until it was time for my flight. My mom cried and begged me to stay and said that they had already paid for half of the dowry and ring. I stopped responding to my parents' calls and texts because I was done with them. My cousins and some old friends have been telling me that I was being unfair by being so rude to F and his parents. Thing is, they were in on it. They expected me to say yes and sent me a lot of insults when I refused to reconsider. They were humiliated, and in their tiny group of small-minded people, my parents were being ostracized for raising a whore of a daughter. F and his parents were also humiliated because they were rejected by a whore. Am I the a-hole for being so rude? I feel like I should have handled the situation more delicately rather than blowing up at all of them. Now, Redditors gives the best suggestion to the OP on this situation. Get on that plane and don't go back. You have seen what they will do if you do. If, and I mean, if you keep contact, get a wedding ring to wear. That they will see. It doesn't have to be real or have man attached to it, but if they see you are taken, they may not try another stunt like this. You are not the a-hole. They embarrassed themselves by underestimating your independence, strength and stubbornness. Good for you. Not the a-hole. This was a trap that they knew they were setting, and you didn't fall for it. It doesn't sound like you owe these people anything, and if they think they can use money to goat you into marriage, the least they can do is write a check so you can burn it. How dare you? Not the a-hole. You're kidding, right? You know there's no way you're the a-hole here. You probably also know you really couldn't have done anything any better than you did. Here's what you don't know. Your story needs to be told. You made a whole bunch of really good decisions that a lot of girls in India and other countries don't think they can make. They fall for all the traps that are set by the family pressure and the forced dependence. I don't know, a YouTube video or something? Your story needs to get out there. It's the 21st century. People are entitled to live their own lives. Not the a-hole. What they did to you was manipulative and so controlling. It's great that you are completely independent from them, and I wouldn't blame you for going complete no contact. That culture is likely very ingrained in your family's minds and lives, so much so that they won't be likely to change their views anytime soon. I don't think what you did was really rude considering the situation and pressure they put on you, all without your consent. Lol. So if you are a whore, what does he care what you think? Why would he want to marry a whore? I don't understand this logic. Anyway, as someone who was involved with an Indian woman and her very controlling family, I bowed out of that entire mess and did not marry her. I refused to be a third wheel to my own marriage and have to defer to people halfway around the globe who I never met. Not even my culture. Good luck to you. Continue doing what makes you happy. Don't look back. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You told them several times how you felt about the situation and that you wanted a relationship on your terms if it ever happened. They didn't listen and popped a surprise proposal on you without warning or regard to your wishes. After you said no, they kept pushing you. You owe them nothing at this point, as you explained your position clearly multiple times. They are the a-holes for not listening to your desires where all of this is concerned. I wish you the best moving forward and suggest going low no contact again for a while. If only for your sanity. Not the a-hole. Hey OP, I'm half Indian. What your parents and extended family did was 100% ducked up. They're using guilt and slut shaming as a way to manipulate you, which is so typical whenever a woman refuses to be forced into doing what they want. I was called a slut at 14, even though I was a reclusive virgin who never left the house except to go to school, and I'm low contact to no contact with my Indian half of the family. These insults have nothing to do with reality and everything to do with controlling you. Now, OP have updated something in the story. Wow. I did not expect so many not the a-holes or responses. When I said that they were in on it, I meant that my parents had told them that I hadn't met the right guy and that I would come around, which is why they kept trying. My parents expected me to surrender all my savings and money to F, live with F and his family in India, procreate with F 3 times, and do all the housework when I can't even make a poached egg. About letting me go to college, I told them 2 weeks before leaving for it and lived at my friend's house with all my important documents because I knew that they would do pretty much anything to keep me from going. They called my uni and said that I wouldn't be joining. Uni contacted me and I cleared it up. That's why I didn't talk to them and declined to let them pay. For those of you who told me to wear a forks ring, I'm engaged to my girlfriend of 5 years and my parents aren't getting an invite to the wedding. I knew that they'd ask me about it if they saw it and disapprove of anyone That wasn't Indian, let alone a female. Thank you for your responses and I'm never talking to my parents again. Story posted by an all-star. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that I absolutely do not support her only wanting to be a stay-at-home mom? I don't have a problem with the idea of parents who stay home with their kids. It's not like that. I get that childcare is expensive and that oftentimes it just makes sense. What I have a problem with is my teenage daughter literally planning her life to only become a stay-at-home mom. As in, no college, no jobs, no certifications, nothing at all to support herself until that time might come. I told her that it doesn't have to be college, that not everyone needs college, but that she needs to do something to start making money to put away so that, if anything goes wrong with her plan, she has a way to support herself and the potential kids. Her feedback was that her backup plan was me and my husband. She would move in with us and go from there. We would help them survive. I told her then, what happens if we die or we are incapacitated? She said, I don't know, Mom, this is ridiculous. None of it is going to happen. I told her bluntly that I don't want her becoming Nancy Botwin 2.0, that if something happens, she needs to have a backup plan and something behind her other than relying on other people. I emphasized that again. It does not need to be college. She can start working retail to learn customer service skills that she can carry on to doing call center work from home if need be. She can start working as a receptionist somewhere. She can do any number of things. But she says no, she's going to plan to be a stay-at-home mom. With that all in mind, I asked her, when she graduates high school, what is she going to do? She said just try to find a husband. Maybe marry someone in the military. I asked her again, in between that time, how is she going to pay her bills? Her rent? She said she assumed she would be living at home. I told her no, and that she would be moving out. She could live at home if she gets a job or tries to get some kind of community college degree or certification. But that if she insists on being a deadbeat loser and waiting for a man to come and rescue her, she's on her own. This didn't go over well, and I'm now being held up as totally unreasonable, mean, a huge bitch, etc. I don't think I'm wrong at all. I want to set her up for a lifetime of success and happiness. If this wonderful man who comes and whisks her away, knocks her up, etc., gets injured or dies, I don't want to have her come knocking at our door because she can't afford to take care of herself. Am I the a-hole? Now, Redditors gives the best suggestion to the OP on this situation. Not the a-hole. In high school, I also wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Unfortunately, that's not where my life took me. I'm 33, single, and childless. Sometimes our plans don't work out and that's okay. She really needs to make a plan to be able to take care of herself regardless of becoming a stay-at-home mom. I'd strongly steer her toward culinary arts and the hospitality industry. Many of those skills transfer over to being a good stay-at-home mom. Then, even if the husband and kids thing doesn't happen right away, she'd have a means of support while improving the skills, at least. I'm a stay-at-home mom 5 days a week. I work the front desk at a local hotel on weekends. It's the easiest job I've ever had, and it's very similar to what I do at home. Vacuum and clean the lobby, get stuff ready for breakfast, and soothe tantrums of tired people. I barely needed any training, lol. Not the a-hole. I'll admit I was ready to say you were the a-hole being a stay-at-home wife myself. There is nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home partner if you and your partner agree, but you are right, that can't be her only option. That's how you get into abusive situations, when you are completely dependent on your partner to survive. I may not have a college degree, but I do have experience in sales and tech support, and if I needed out I could do it. Also, her backup plan of just falling back on you makes her sound extremely entitled and spoiled. Sounds like she needs a bit of a wake up. Not the a-hole at all. Your daughter's path in life is totally unreasonable. I think the guidelines you have set up for her are totally reasonable. It almost sounds like she wants to be a freeloader more than a stay-at-home mom. She should have some experience, whether it's college or a small job, to help set her up for success. Not the a-hole. She needs a backup plan because she's setting herself up for financial abuse and so on. I'm assuming from what you've said she doesn't currently have a boyfriend or fiance, so can I ask where she thinks she's going to meet this future husband if she doesn't work or do evening classes or any of the things you do to get out of the damn house and meet people? Her plan is gross, emo. She doesn't want a happy marriage, she wants someone to pay for all her stuff, so she never has to be independent. The fact she actively wants to marry military shows how irrelevant the husband actually is in her plans. She is going for the option where her partner will be around the home least. Plus, military guys are wise to this sort of thing. Maybe tell her to look up the term depender so she can see just how little respect women who marry military just to say they have / to get the benefits get from people. Please note I don't condone any of the stuff people say about so-called dependents, but that is sadly the reality of what she would be facing in her plan. I don't really think many men would find so I'm never going to work. We have to get married ASAP, and I'll have a couple of kids in return for you making all the money an attractive prospect on a first date, and any man who does should probably be avoided anyway as he won't want a wife, he wants a slave. Regardless of any of these things, your daughter needs skills. She needs to be able to provide for herself. She needs to see herself as an independent person, not just an extension of her parents and potential husband. You're right. What if the husband dies, or cheats on her, or turns out to be an abusive person? What can she then fall back on to support her future children? So friends, how did you like today's story? Comment below, and if you find the video interesting, then like and share this video. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, press the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon, because I keep making videos like this. So friends, that's all in today's video. I meet you again in new video with new story. Till then, take care of your and keep watching the story station.